Hey everybody, Gerry here. Before we get started with this edition of the Toffee Blue View, I need to let you know we had some technical issues with Paul and Max's footage. Their voice comes in great. It's the fact that we lost the video. I want to let you know ahead of time, sincerest apologies for this issue. We would have re-recorded had we had time, but we didn't. So this is the best thing we could do to salvage. Anyway, on with the show. Sorry again. Welcome to Toffee Blue View, your source for all things Everton. I'm Gerry, as I always am. Max and Paul have joined me because I value their insight. Gentlemen, Palace at the weekend. Let's talk about who we think Marco is going to start. Marco, take our advice. Seriously. All right, so who wants to start? Let's see, last time I started with Max. Let's go with Paul. Paul, what do you got? What's Marco going to do? Prep us now.
Pickford in goal, standard. Kenny at right back. Coleman's, I don't think, is going to make it. I think he's still a while off, yeah. Keane and Zuma as the centre-back partnership. I don't see Mina starting in the game straight away. Dean at left back. In the middle, I think he will play Garner and Davis. I don't see Gomez coming in straight away either. Then in front of them, the number 10, it'll be Sigurdsson. On the wings, it'll be Walcott and I think Bernard. And I think he will start Richarlison up front. I think basically the same team that we played against Leicester. I don't see the new boys coming straight into the team. I think Mina will be on the bench most definitely. I don't even think Gomez will make the bench just yet. I think that being a little bit more careful with Gomez. I know we're all eager to see both of them, but Gomez has had one of those sort of soft muscle injuries where they can flare up again or at the slightest thing. So I think they want to be 100% sure and certain before they'll risk Gomez. I don't think they'll throw Gomez in just yet. Maybe they'll give him another behind closed doors friendly, but I do think Mina will be on the bench.
So Paul, I didn't want to interrupt you. I almost did by going like this, but I was like, no, he's rolling. Let him go. There were reports from Senegal camp that Ghana is injured.
Oh, right. I didn't know that.
He has supposedly done something to his ankle. I don't know if it's just a hard tackle. So I don't know if it's just contact and he's going to play through it or if he's turned his ankle. But something is up with Ghana. There's a chance. I wrote down the exact same lineup as you did. I have the same lineup as you, except I've got a question mark by Ghana. Here's where I think the conversation needs to be had, okay? Besides the striker situation, which is, again, we're getting to that. But if Ghana's not healthy, who starts and who do you have on the bench? And what's the combination you go with?
I think Schneiderlin will start in the place of Ghana, and on the bench, who is it who's been like kind of, he's in the first team, but he's not kind of in the picture. His name escapes me. Beningame. Is Beningame fit yet?
He's exactly where McCarthy and Gomez are right now in terms of they just played that behind closed doors. Yeah. Again, I don't even think he'll risk McCarthy. Yeah, I don't think McCarthy or Gomez will be risked short of an absolute injury crisis. I would think of those three, Beningame would probably get the nod to be on the bench. I don't see Gomez coming in, and if he does come in, I don't see any more than a 5-minute cameo. So I think it'll be just like for like. If Garner's not available, we'll just put Schneiderlin in there, and someone like Dow will be the first choice off the bench. If we need to bring someone out on the middle, maybe we'll drop Gylfi back and throw Dow on and give him a chance. Maybe. Yeah. So if it's not Garner, I think he'll put Schneiderlin there, and I would be very surprised if we see McCarthy or Gomez on the bench. I think Silva will play it safe at those two and give them another week or two before he's willing to risk them. Max, do you smell what he's cooking? What do you got?
Of course I do. The Rock. Nah, you don't change a winning team, do you? I'm firmly of that mentality. I agree completely with literally everything the post just said. The midfield dilemma. It's hitting hope with Gay. I hope he does start because he's in a vein of really good form. I think he's one of the standout players over the last few games because he seems to be all over the place and making a contribution in terms of going forward as well because his attacking game is really improving.
He just scored for Senegal, I think, last week. Yeah,
I know. Did you see the goal at all?
I didn't.
It was just kind of like a typical right place, right time. But the interesting part was because it was an African stadium, it had a running track around the outside of it, and that run that he had to make to celebrate with the fans, it wouldn't surprise me if he'd done his ankle on there. Like he literally had to run about a mile before he could celebrate with the fans. But yeah, as I say, fingers crossed he's fit to start. But I'd roll with Schneiderlin if
of course you would, Max.
Of course I would. I mean, it doesn't seem to be a matter of fitness or injury with Schneiderlin, does it? It just seemed, obviously, there was the incident with his father, which you'd rightfully, if you need to take time out for that, by all means take time out. But if he's cool with it and he's okay with it, this is the chance for him to be reintroduced back into the side, and hopefully he can continue the form that he showed glimpses of because in my opinion, whenever I've seen him this season, he's done fairly well.
I mean, I agree with everything. I'm under the impression that Coleman is not going to quite be ready yet. Silva gave an interview recently where he was talking about where Mina and Gomez and McCarthy are, and I think he said Coleman will be there soon. I feel like those were his words, which makes me think he's not going to be ready for Saturday. So, Kenny, probably in. Go ahead, Paul. Sorry.
No, just in regards to Coleman, I know he didn't come back to the club and get treated. He's stayed over with the island team, didn't he? Rather than comebacks, which just annoys me, to be honest. I can't stand that Irish setup and how archaic they are. But yeah, so I think Coleman could be further ahead than what he is, but isn't for personal choices that I don't personally agree with. And we'll have to just make do with it, won't we?
Was he training with them, or was he just there to support the team?
He was just there to support the team, rather than come back to Finch Farm and start his rehab. I mean, I don't know the ins and outs. Maybe there's things we don't know. But the story that seems to be coming out is that he basically decided to stay with the team and just, carry the drinks and be a cheerleader, rather than come back to Finch Farm and get his rehab started. So I'm disappointed if that's the case. I think if you can't do anything for the team, if you're not fit enough to even train, and you've got no chance at all of being in the team, then you shouldn't even be on international duty. You should just get back to your club and start your recuperation straight away.
I disagree with that. Captain of Ireland, if he wants to be with the squad, I think it's completely fine for him to be with the squad. I just think this injury list that we've got, I don't see any of them in particular being risked, as you say, unless it's a 5-minute cameo. This Crystal Palace side are known to wind this up, and if history repeats itself as it has over these last the opening games of this season, we're going to take a kicking, and you don't really want to risk these players that are fresh off the injury list, that they're going to be getting hacked and dragged down at every opportunity. But I do think that once they come back, we will, we'll have our full arsenal then, because I do definitely believe 100% Coleman is our starting right back, and who knows if Mina comes in and it's the ground running. I think without doubt that he'd probably be our best centre half as well. Gomez, I think, is where a few interesting questions lie. And I think he'd probably be the one I'm most intrigued to watch.
I'm curious about Gomez in terms of style of play, because I don't think he's like a hard, tough tackling guy, despite the fact that he's got some size. I know he does a lot of kind of guiding, bumping players off the ball, but he's not a Ghana like tough tackler kind of type. But he does get forward, and his forward passing is impressive. So I'll be really curious to see how he works in conjunction with Sigurdsson and in contrast to Davies, to see the difference, because I'm under the impression that Davies is much more getting in a tackle. You know what I mean? They're similar position, different styles. I want to see how they function, differently. And I want to see McCarthy. Where does he plug in? Without
going off on a tangent, he's the one who owes us the most, because the last few years, I haven't had a lot of breath for McCarthy. He's picked up a lot of injuries that were preventable, not the broken leg, obviously, but a lot of other silly injuries where just him not listening to the club medical staff and going over with Islands. We've been over that. So if McCarthy wants to stick around, then he's got an awful lot of proving himself to do. I'm sorry that he hurt his leg and he got such a horrible injury, but that shouldn't change the fact that right before he got his injury, most people were fed up with him then. But just because you get an injury doesn't mean that you should just automatically come back to goodwill. So if McCarthy plays, pull your finger out, son. Because if you don't pull your finger out, I'd be happy to see him shipped out in January.
No. I empathise with James McCarthy. I think you look back at the player that he was in that 2013-14 season. What a player he was, Paul. He was absolutely fantastic in that first season under Martinez. No, I factor in his injuries, okay, and they've been different injuries. I mean, I know there have been certain areas which have been hurt more than once, like his knee and his hamstring, but it's like his groin as well, the leg break. I can empathise with him. It's just he's got tragic luck in terms of injuries, and obviously his valuation will have, kind of rocketed the wrong way, because I think he's missed something. Like, I think it's like 87 games he's missed through injury during his Everton career. That's an incredible amount of football to miss. I don't think it's right to tell him to pull his finger out, because he was in all right form just before that horrible injury happened against West Brom. I think he was playing relatively well. He was playing with, like he had a chip on his shoulder, like he had something to prove. You go back to the incident where the injury actually happened. He was backtracking, intercepting the ball in his own penalty box before the tackle came in, which broke his leg. So, I mean, it's touch and go. I know we experienced it with Coleman, seeing a player take his first steps back on the pitch once they're coming back from a double leg break like that. But I think if he goes predicated off what his best form can be, he's given another really good selection dilemma.
I'll give respect to both of you and say I also lost patience with McCarthy at one point. I did. However, this lug break thing, for me, it did something to my brain where I sort of wiped the slate clean, and because it was so bad, I just wanted the guy to recover for the sake of the guy,
Yeah,
and so,
I agree with that.
And I figured you would, Paul. I figured you were on board. So I lost patience with him too, and I was wondering when he was going to leave. I thought he was going to be gone way before now. So yeah, I'm at this point, I actually think we can use him. Give us some depth at those center mid positions. I think there's something we could do with him. But I think the only way he makes the bench this weekend is if Ghana is not there. Hey everybody, Gerry here again with Toffee Blue View update. We record these shows on Thursday and then updates come through. Silva did a press conference earlier. Turns out that Mina and Gomez will be available to make their debut this weekend. So that's a thing. Also, Gay is still a doubt for this weekend. So that's a thing too. And thinking McCarthy's probably a doubt as well. So yeah, there's the most recent injury updates. On with the show. Anything else on our starting 11, guys? We have conveniently left out a portion. The striker situation, the center forward situation. And it's because we have a segment coming up about Cenk Tosun Pasha. We're going to talk about what he brings to the striker position, how he combines well with other players, what sort of defenses maybe he's more effective against. Yeah, and we'll get there. So that's coming. In the meantime, I guess that is it for our starting 11 segment. If you've been digging the videos, please subscribe. Just over 1240 subs right now, and we're just psyched about it. Thank you. If you want more Max, I'm not going to say his full name because it makes him nervous. If you want more Max, check out his Twitter account. He'll tell you where he is. He's got somebody doing his schedule. He's just a busy. So check that out. He also has analysis on the Toffee Blues website, but you know who else does? The other guy I'm talking to, Paul. He's got analysis on there, but he also shows up on the Liverpool Echo fan jury. Check those guys out. They're good people. That's all. We're going to go talk about Tosun Pasha. Bye.